I chose the impossible. I built a city where the artist would not fear the censor, where the great will not be constrained by the small, where the scientist would not be bound by petty morality. I chose to build Rapture.
The Big Daddy, the Bouncer, Mr. Bubbles. He goes by many names to many people, but his motivation is always the same, and his devotion is unshaken. That being, the Little Sisters, genetically modified little girls whose sole purpose is to collect Adam from dead bodies, consume said fluid, and process it into a usable form to be used in the production of plasmids, consumable genetic modifiers that can manifest in supernatural-like powers, like being able to produce fire, freeze objects, or even telekinesis. You can imagine that such a substance would be incredibly valuable and precious, making the Little Sisters a high-value target to any wishing to get their hands on Adam. For this, the Big Daddy was created with the sole purpose of protecting the Little Sisters as they do their work, and only that. Nothing besides the Little Sisters matter to a Big Daddy, only keeping her safe. Meaning that these are essentially gentle giants who will have no issue with you unless the Little Sister is placed into danger. To the unfortunate ones who do rouse the Big Daddy's fury, they are not long for this world. As the Daddy with endless aggression will pursue and mutilate those threats. I give this backstory to paint the picture of how key Little Sisters are to the character of the Big Daddy, so any inclusion of him into Dead by Daylight would need to have the Little Sisters as a key part of his power. Without the Little Sisters, there are no Big Daddies. So that's what I did. The way I incorporated her has resulted in a power reminiscent of abilities we've seen from previous characters, but adds a basically new dynamic to how the survivors and killers influence the other side. The pace of the match can be swung massively in any direction depending on what choices came before. Even adding 2 whole new status effects, and don't worry, these are not another debuff status effects, so you can relax on that.
Poggers!
So sit back, listen up, because what will appear to be a quite extensive at first glance power will be quite simple to grasp and understand after an explanation. Let's start with the Little Sister herself, how she functions, her purpose, and how survivors interact with her. At the start of the trial, the Little Sister is hanging onto the back of the Big Daddy, peeking over his shoulder. This is known as guarded mode, and we will touch back on it in a couple moments, but first, we need to talk about the main part of the power known as harvest mode. Randomly scattered around the map are the bodies of dead Adam users, that depending on the size of the map can affect the quantity of the total corpses. Let's give an example. So, Sanctum of Wrath is quite a small map, so we would only have 4 corpses, while a map like Mother's Dwelling, being a much larger map, could have up to 6 corpses. The Little Sister can be placed onto the ground and she will travel the map by herself to the various corpses to harvest Adam. Each body has a set amount of Adam that can be collected from the corpse before they are drained fully, and she will need to move on to the next one. After corpses are fully drained, they passively recharge Adam that can be collected again after a 30-second cooldown after being completely drained. This doesn't mean they fully reset to 100% after 30 seconds, but they cannot be interacted with by the Little Sister for at least 30 seconds. This means that a Little Sister can harvest the body until it's completely drained, but once it's fully drained, by the time she's allowed to go back and harvest it again, she will likely be far enough away and not drawn back to it. Once a Little Sister has collected enough Adam, her syringe will glow red, showing both Big Daddy and the survivors she has enough Adam to upgrade the Big Daddy. She will also have a status icon next to the add-ons that will be lit up, so Mr. B is the Big Daddy, or Mr. Bubbles. I will be referring to him as Mr. B several times through the video, so just be aware of that. So the status will be lit up red, which lets Mr. B make a choice to go find her or to continue doing what he's doing. Regardless, the Little Sister will run back to Mr. B at a slightly faster rate than her usual movement speed. Once in range, Mr. B can interact with her, which takes 1.5 seconds, and he receives a permanent upgrade to his killer power. We will go more in depth on what these upgrades are in a little bit, but there is more to this aspect of the power that needs to be explained beforehand. So to summarize thus far, little sisters wander around the map and harvest Adam from corpses, and once enough is collected, she can return to the Big Daddy and grant him a permanent upgrade to his killer power. Great, now onto the survivor's role and how they interact with the sisters' harvest power. Survivors, if they wish to, can grab and carry a little sister to prevent her from continuing to harvest, or preventing her from bringing back a full upgrade to the Big Daddy. This action on base takes survivors 2 seconds to be able to perform before being able to move again. Be aware though that any survivor within 4 meters of a little sister will be shown to the Big Daddy by killer instinct. So he knows what you're about to do. He knows you're endangering his little girl. While survivors are holding on to a little sister, every 8 seconds she will scream out notifying the Big Daddy of their current location.
Daddy! Help! Stop it! Don't touch me! Let go! Let go! Let go!
They will not reveal the aura, but will reveal where they were when she screamed. The moment a survivor has a little sister in their grasp, they are afflicted with the status effect Daddy's Fury, an effect that applies buffs to the Big Daddy while in chase with the survivor afflicted with the status effect. These effects being an increased vault speed of 1.3 seconds, or in simple terms, Tier 3 Myers vault speed. Stun times across the board are reduced by 30%. Pallets and breakable walls break speed is increased by 30%, only with kicks though. This does not affect gen kick speed or totem snuff speeds at all, only walls and pallets. And finally, the hit cooldown is reduced by 20%. Keep in mind that these effects are only applied while a survivor afflicted with Daddy's Fury is in a chase, and are immediately removed the moment chase ends. This is a big risk-reward scenario for survivors, as preventing Adam collection and Big Daddy's upgrades can be a massive help to the team long term, keeping Big Daddy from becoming a bigger threat later in the match. But on the flip side, it puts survivors into a very tough situation if they are actively being pursued by a Big Daddy, making chase a lot more stressful and harder to pull off for extended amounts of time. This allows the Big Daddy to punish survivors attempting to harm his little sister. It's a trade-off, basically, an invitation to be chased under the understanding it's going to be harder. A literal challenge to the killer who feels incentivized to accept. Even if they need to end a chase with another survivor or give up some gen pressure, they'll have a good chance of getting a down on the survivor who's attempting to suppress their power. Fear not though, survivors keeping hold of your little sister is not a death sentence to your pressure as killer. While a survivor is in possession of a little sister, they cannot do any conspicuous actions. Meaning they are off a gen, they cannot rescue or heal survivors, or even themselves, will not be able to do any totems or even get an item from a chest. If you choose not to chase a survivor holding a little sister, you're trading your power upgrade for essentially map pressure, which can be even more beneficial to you in the long run. Do be aware though, if survivors inflicted with Daddy's Fury are not placed into a chase for 45 seconds, all Adam currently collected by the little sister will be destroyed. This 45-second timer is reset if they are placed in a chase. You need a total of 45 seconds completely left alone to destroy all the Adam currently collected. If you feel like you've bitten off more than you could chew with an angered Big Daddy descending on you to free his little sister, you can bow out at any time and instantly drop the survivor. But don't think you just get off scot-free. After dropping a little sister, you are still inflicted with Daddy's Fury for 20 seconds afterwards. But if you survive the 20 seconds, the Daddy returns to his usual status, but he's probably still pissed at you. So let's summarize. Survivors can pick up the little sister. As they do, they are afflicted with Daddy's Fury, which buffs the Big Daddy while being chased by pallet and wall kick speed, reduced stun duration, increased vault speed, and lower attack cooldown, while an afflicted survivor of Daddy's Fury is in chase, during which every 8 seconds having your location revealed. Survivors during this time cannot perform any conspicuous actions and can drop the little sister instantly at any time, but are still afflicted with Daddy's Fury for 20 seconds afterwards. If a survivor can make it 45 seconds without being in chase, while holding a little sister, all the currently collected Atom on said little sister is destroyed. Alright, on to the next part of the power. Now we are returning back to guarded mode. Let's say you become frustrated at the constant kidnapping of your little sister. You can choose to keep her close and guarded, and she will assist you in tracking and chases. While next to a little sister, you can choose to pick her up and put her onto your back as you enter the guarded mode.
Come on, Daddy. Daddy, I'm ready. Daddy's back. Daddy back ride. Daddy's not afraid.
While in guarded mode, little sisters cannot be interacted with by survivors, but she cannot collect Atom either. Instead, she will assist Mr. B in tracking survivors and Atom corpses. Within 32 meters while traversing the map, the little sister will speak to Mr. B and tell him hints like,
Roses and sunshine, angels is near. Atom is near, Daddy, can you see? I smell an angel. I hear a creeper peeper. Here, mousy, mousy.
While not in chase with a survivor in guarded mode, a hidden bar will passively build up, and when it fills up, the survivor will become peeped for 6 seconds. Peeped is a new status effect that reveals a survivor's aura, but tells that survivor they are currently revealed and seen by the killer. This status applies only if the aura is revealed, so a perk like Distortion prevents the aura being revealed. Survivors will not be shown that they are peeped. While in chase, the passive bar becomes visible, and once filled, any fast vault or stun peeps the survivor for 8 seconds. When the bar fills for a second time during chase, the little sister tells Mr. B they should be quiet and surprise the baddies, which gives the stun and quick vault peep status effect, but also causes Mr. B to become undetectable for 15 seconds. This effect constantly stays and can be recharged and reused constantly as long as the chase is ongoing. The moment it ends, it resets. The ability does have drawbacks. Besides not progressing Atom, the passive bar charge is extended for every upgrade the Big Daddy receives. The little sister is more tired from all the harvesting she's done and now is more unaware as a result. So level 1, the bar takes 15 seconds to charge. Level 2, the bar takes 25 seconds to charge. Level 3, the bar takes 40 seconds to charge. And at level 4, it takes 60 seconds to charge.
I'm too sleepy to play anymore, Daddy. No more angels, Daddy. Let's go home. I'm ready for dream time now, Daddy.
This ability functions in this way for several reasons. First, it gives killers more ways to play instead of falling into the exact same formula of how to play the killer and have the match feeling relatively the same. Now, you can choose if you would like to only use one mode the entire match, and not feel like you were losing out much, as either way, you have more power on each end of the spectrum, and if you wanted, you can just meet in the middle and have both powers be good, but not great. Second, it gives killers more options with how to deal with different situations. If you have a really good looping team who are always on your little sister, you can break out from that tactic and keep her with you. Or if they're more ratty than actually progressing the objectives, you can sniff them out easier. 3, it's thematic, and it gives the little sister so much more character and makes the killer overall more interesting. She roots you on when you fail, mocks survivors when you down them. It's just adding more flavor to the survivor and Big Daddy interactions.
X his eyes! X his eyes! Unzip 'em, Daddy! Kerbunk! Kerbunk! We don't need any mommies, nuh-uh. No! Unzip him, Mr. B! Unzip him! Nobody hurts my daddy! Daddy's mad and you'll be sorry! Can we keep it? I promise it won't even hurt. See? Time out! You go to time out! Almost done, little angel. Don't cry. I'll tuck the angel in, Daddy. Atom for me and Mr. B. Atom, Daddy. I made it for you. More atoms, sir, Daddy?
Why, yes, please.
Say thank you, Daddy.
Thank you.
Good girls, gather, gather, gather.
I'm Daddy. No, I'm Daddy.
So let's summarize this and get to the final piece of the power puzzle. Big Daddy can pick up the little sister, and depending on Big Daddy's level, it will have a passive bar that charges within 32 meters of a survivor. Outside of chase, when this bar fills up, the first afflicted survivor in the range becomes peeped for 6 seconds, which reveals the survivor's aura, but also shows them that the aura is viewable by the killer. Before this bar fills up, the little sister will talk to the Big Daddy, telling him that Adam or survivors are nearby. If the bar fills up and the survivor's in a locker, she will tell the Big Daddy that the survivors are hiding. Not where they're hiding, but they are hiding, meaning they're in a locker. During chase, when this passive bar fills up, fast vaults and pallet stuns cause the survivor to be peeped for 6 seconds. If the second level of the bar fills up in chase, the Big Daddy will also become undetectable for 15 seconds. The bar keeps refilling, adding these effects until the survivor escapes chase. Awesome. Now let's talk about the Big Daddy's upgrade power. The Big Daddy's main power is his drill charge. After a short windup, it allows the Big Daddy to dash forward in a straight line, hitting survivors for 1 health state and breaking pallets in 2.3 seconds, instead of the usual 2.6. His range on base is 8 meters. This behaves surprisingly similar to Demogorgon's Shred. I personally don't mind this essentially just being Shred, as we don't even have the option to obtain the Demogorgon anymore, so this gives new players a chance to be able to play with this kind of ability. But also, it does not just stay as Shred. As the power upgrades, it becomes much scarier. Big Daddy starts in level 1 of his ability. When the little sister collects 1 full atom, which is essentially 1 full corpse being drained, and he collects it from the little sister, he upgrades to level 2, which extends the drill charge total from a range of 8 meters to 16 meters, allowing the Big Daddy to drill attack from very far away. This is basically the range of Wesker's second bound charge. For level 3 to be acquired, the little sister needs to collect 2 atom, which is basically 2 corpses. When level 3 is acquired, missed drill charge cooldown is reduced by 0.5 seconds, and pallet break speed is set to 2 seconds on a drill charge. Also, drill charge now applies the deep wounds status effect to any survivor hit. Here comes the scary part of the ability. At level 4, the little sister will need to collect 4 total atom. Once collected, the Big Daddy's drill charge puts survivors into the dying state. Level 4 is the last of the upgrades for the Big Daddy. But fear not, he can still get use out of the harvest form. Now the little sister needs to collect 2 atom. When collected by Big Daddy, all the survivors are peeped for 8 seconds, and they scream, revealing their location. All survivors in the trial are afflicted with exposed for 30 seconds. So let's summarize the last bit of this power, then we can talk about perks and add-ons. I would recommend staying for them as they are just as revolutionary as the power is. One perk in particular will change the game massively. Drill Attack is just Shred at base. Drill Attack shoots forward 8 meters, damaging survivors 1 health state, and breaks pallets slightly faster. After 1 full atom, being 1 full corpse being drained, Big Daddy levels up to level 2, where his drill range is now extended to 16 meters. After collecting 2 atom, Big Daddy upgrades to level 3, where pallets break faster, missed drill charge cooldown is slightly reduced, and the drill attacks apply deep wounds. After collecting 4 atom, Big Daddy enters level 4, where the drill charge puts survivors into the dying state. After level 4 is achieved, forever moving forward, the little sister must collect 2 atom, and once collected, peeps all survivors for 8 seconds and makes them scream, revealing their location. This also applies the exposed status effect to all survivors for 30 seconds. Alright, cool. Also a side note, regarding the distance of the drill charge attack, if my numbers are a bit off, my intention with their range is basically level 1 being Demo's Shred attack, and level 2 roughly being Wesker's second virulent bound charge. So if 8 and 16 meters are wrong here, just know that was my intention. When it came to perks, I had to think to myself, what would make sense for the Big Daddy character? What would be interesting and not retread on old ideas? I thought maybe plasmids or vigors, but I thought to myself, those would be better suited for the survivors, which I will be talking about shortly. So basically I came to the conclusion that although the Big Daddies do not really have supernatural abilities, protecting his little ones was way more in his character. So his perks are all about totems. Firstly, let's just start off with the most exciting perk that's ever been introduced into Dead by Daylight, Fatherly Instinct. Hexes no longer spawn at the start of the trial, but instead can be placed by the killer. The killer can see all totem locations until all available hexes are placed. So this, while itself does not do much, as the only real value you get out of the perk is knowing all the totem locations on the map. So if you were to run this perk without any other hexes, or none that you can personally place down, you will just have permanent information on where all the totems are in the map, letting you know if a survivor breaks one, or being able to quickly track down boons without much guesswork. It's an alright effect on its own, but the real meat is giving the killers the choice of where and when they would like to place their totems down, making for less frustration of making a totem build where in the first 20 seconds you lose a key part of your build. This changes that. Now you can say to yourself, I think now would be a good time to drop this Hex Blood Favor. To keep this from being completely devastating to survivors, when a Hex is placed like a boon, a universal sound is played into the match, and all survivors are shown which Hex was just placed into the match. So if a killer drops a Devour Hope, all survivors are told and hear that a Devour Hope is now in the match, making this not a universal Hex perk, but allows some of the more underused totems like Crowd Control, Blood Favor, and Third Seal to see a little bit more love. Next we have Hex Little One. When the killer kicks a generator, it peeps any survivors, revealing their auras within 16 meters for 45 seconds. This can be applied to multiple generators. This is basically just killer's version of Wiretap. There's not a lot of information-based hex perks in the game, so I thought of something around protecting a gen and a totem would seem fitting for the Big Daddy. This effect is good, but not crazy powerful, especially since survivors are aware they are being seen by the totem, and they can just cleanse it at any time. It could be really good early on for finding some slippery hiding survivors. Ultimately, I think it would be one of the weaker hex perks, but could still get a lot of value and information out of it. And his final perk is a simple one, but it makes survivors shit themselves the moment a totem is cleansed. This perk is called Protective. After a survivor cleanses any totem, they become the obsession and scream out revealing their position. The killer becomes undetectable for 30 seconds. A simple perk that the moment you cleanse a totem, the killer knows where you are, and you'll have no clue if they are coming to follow up on it or not. It's kind of scary. Them being undetectable and becoming the obsession is a scary situation, and will cause some survivors to hide for a short duration. Unless they're survive with friends, but you can't really do much about that. Okay, here we're gonna go with the Big Daddy's add-ons. I'm gonna do this quickly, as I'm not really going to go in depth on any of them. Maybe one or two if I feel it's justified, but I wouldn't expect it. Since they're all basically self-explanatory, if you understand the Big Daddy's power at this point, you'll probably understand these. We got the Brown add-ons, which is Su Chong's Notes. Little Sister's timer in guarded mode is reduced by 10%. We have a Splicer Mask. The Little Sister takes an additional 2 seconds to be picked up by survivors. Then we have Drowned Plain Part. The Little Sister collects Atom 5% faster. Atlas Poster. When entering guarded or harvest mode, the Big Daddy receives a 10% haste effect for 30 seconds. Yellows. Used Plasmid. Survivors holding a Little Sister are exhausted and blind. Empty Stroller. Little Sister takes an additional 4 seconds to be picked up by survivors. Audio Diary. Little Sister's timer in guarded mode is reduced by 20%. Rusted Security Bot. A survivor holding a Little Sister is peeped for all of the Daddy's fury outside of Chase. Survivors are no longer peeped the moment they enter Chase.
Welcome to the Circus of Value!
It takes survivors an additional 10 seconds to break a Little Sister syringe while being carried. Greens. Bent Golf Club. Drill Charge applies the Mangled and Hemorrhage status effect. Power to the People. Peeped survivors are oblivious for 10 seconds. Gatherer's Garden. Survivor's proximity to the little sister causing the killer instinct is removed and replaced with Peep, at an extended range of 6 meters instead of 4. El Amo Bandito. Little sisters can move 20% faster. Vita Chamber Piece. 1 additional corpse is added to the map. Purples. Bloody Pipe Wrench. 2nd level Sister Vision in guarded mode extends the Big Daddy's undetectable to 40 seconds. Disturbing art piece. Level 5 Big Daddy Exposed is extended to 60 seconds but removes the Scream and Peeped status effect. Drained Sea Slug. Corpses have 20% more Atom. Would you kindly letter? Level 4 Big Daddy removes the one-shots from the drill charge attack, but instead the drill charge range is extended to 24 meters, with a 0.5 extended drill cooldown. Iridescence. Glowing Gene Tonic. While in chase with a person inflicted by Daddy's Fury, all other survivors are afflicted with Exposed. Little Sister's Gift. Survivors holding on to a little sister for more than 30 seconds are exposed for the rest of Daddy's Fury. Now we are officially done with the Big Daddy. And almost done with this chapter entirely, but we still have Elizabeth, her perks, and the map.
Anna. No, it's me. Elizabeth. Are you alright?
Why I chose Elizabeth. For me, she just seems like the best pick for many reasons. I did toy with the idea of Andrew Ryan or Fontaine being the survivor, but settled on Elizabeth for these reasons. She's the most interesting character in the series for me personally, but she's at least top 3 overall. She has connections to the multiverse, playing into how the lore of Dead by Daylight works. She's connected to Rapture and Columbia quite in-depthly, essentially making her the protagonist of the entire series. She's also a cute girl, and cute girls sell like hotcakes in this game. And if the past of Elizabeth's character and all the innovations she has caused in the more mature area of media, people would be frothing to buy her. She also has a lot of cool cosmetics she's worn throughout the series that would be easy to have in the store. So when I look at Elizabeth as the survivor, all I see is wins. Now to her perks, which are less of perks but more so plasmids and a vigor being used in the trial. First off, we have telekinesis. Cleanse a totem and earn a token of telekinesis. While in chase, survivors can mark a pallet and a visual indicator appears around the pallet, giving you the option to drop it at will for 10 seconds. No matter the range from the pallet, it can still be dropped. If not used within the 10-second window, the token is consumed anyways. There is a 1.5 second cooldown after activating this perk before the pallet can be dropped. The timer does not start until the cooldown has concluded. What can I say about this perk besides it being extremely powerful and fun to play with? But definitely frustrating for the killer's side. But the limited time window and limited uses shared between all survivors keeps it as a decent perk, but I don't think it would ever be meta. Plus, a killer can play around it in several ways, and the token is consumed regardless. I like DBD combat perks, but totally believe they need to be rare and not majorly impactful. More so, they can get value, but you're just better off using other perks if you actually want to win. This is for fun, or in some cases, bullying, sad to say, but I won't let a rude few take away the fun toys from the rest of us. Shock Jockey. After 30 seconds within the killer's red stain, stuns on the killer reduce their speed by 10% for 5 seconds. After the stun, the perk resets and needs to be earned again. I think you're going to notice the trend with these perks. They are aggressive. Since BioShock is an action game, at the end of the day I felt the focus on perks that disrupt the killer's chase, or to be used as a defense tool, was a good theme to run with. Shock Jockey also has a very risky and demanding requirement to actually use it, with using the killer's red stain to power up the perk, meaning the only way to charge this perk is being in close contact with the killer in chase, or at least close enough to be touched by the red stain. The upside to this perk is that once you earn it, you will always have it until your next stun, and it can be earned infinitely. but in most cases I doubt you would ever get more than 2 charges on it in a match. But depending on the loops and how you play, you could get a lot of value out of this perk. But at the end of the day, its effect's not even that strong, as it basically just becomes a break the pallet perk, and makes DS slightly better, but most of the effect will be wasted during the stun animation. Finally, we have Murder of Crows. After alerting 30 crows in the trial, survivors can activate the ability button while in chase, and the next crow alerted will call other crows to swarm the killer, obstructing their vision and squawking loudly, making it hard to hear, for 8 seconds. Think of it like artists' birds, but instead of around the survivor, they're buzzing around the killer's head. Another unique requirement and a combat-esque perk, but it is one that a good killer can basically completely ignore. Killers can still see, but just have a bunch of distracting birds zipping all around their head, making it harder to track survivors through sight, and the loud audio making steps and breathing much harder to track. An annoying perk without a doubt, but it can be rendered completely useless by great killers. Lastly, we need to talk about the map they need to add to this game. No, don't cry, don't cry.
No. Wait. Hey. Wait. Wait. Just wait.
I know people hear Rapture and they think it could only be a claustrophobic indoor map, and while I personally love indoor maps, this is way less of an indoor map than any of the other indoor maps we have in the game. I present to you Arcadia, Rapture. Think of Midwich with a bigger middle that takes up most of the map, basically being an open area with trees and foliage, with the roof being a big glass dome showing the rest of the city outside and all the water and aquatic life. On the outskirts of the map, it's all just hallways and rooms with no second floor, meaning these back rooms and hallways are bigger and more extended with many more openings on every single wall. This allows access from the middle of the map to basically any part of the map you need to go to. I basically need you to use your imagination with this because I don't know how to draw. So this is the best I can do, so hopefully you can get the image of what I'm going for. People don't want any indoor maps anymore, so I think this is a good compromise. I feel basically the indoor areas of the outskirts can be quite large and in some aspects in depth, but a big portion of the map is the big open middle area, while the indoor aspects feel more like the main buildings on other maps. And this concludes my BioShock chapter. At this point, this is my dream license, so even if we never got something quite like this in the game, I would still be ecstatic. Big Daddy would be a very awesome character to face in the trials, and Rapture is without a doubt one of the coolest settings in media in general. So I'm begging for this chapter in some form to be added to this game, preferably my idea. And while there are probably issues I can't see due to my bias, I still feel like this would be an incredibly well-received chapter, as long as it's not buggy like the twins, but that seems very likely with this being Dead by Daylight. While I was writing this, it all kind of occurred to me that this would be a fantastic power idea for the twins, so even if BioShock were to never come into the game, with some tweaks, this could be a great replacement power for the twins. But that's about everything. I put a lot of time and heart into these videos, and I'm sincerely asking you to please subscribe and leave a comment about whether you like this or you have issues with it. I really just want this to reach more people because I love the discussion of ideas and concepts and, sadly enough, balance. And I hope that these ideas can stimulate conversation and inspiration with those that see it. At the very least, please hit like, I'd be so grateful. But this was the last of my words, so thank you for watching. I'm Dustaroo, and I will see you all real soon. Bye-bye.